attachment and love are definitely not the same thing. Very frequently they go together, but they are not the same thing. And the teaching of non-attachment does not mean don't love. What it means is love on the deepest level. Love soul, love spirit, love essence. But don't be attached to how that person is speaking, how they're acting, how they're treating you. Otherwise, you fall in love and then you fall out of love. I fall in love when I really like how you're acting, how you're speaking, how you're treating me. And then I fall out of love when I no longer like that. So actually, the practice of non-attachment takes us into a much deeper love, because it's a love of the other that is non-conditional, that is not based on you dancing according to my tune. It's based on a soul connection. It's based on I see you as soul, as spirit, as divinity, as essence. And yeah, there may be actions that you do, words you use, choices you make that my ego, my psyche does not appreciate because they are out of alignment with what my ego and my psyche have decided are right. But if I'm able to love you anyway, well, not only is that a benefit to the practice of non-attachment, but it's a great benefit to my ability to really love you and for us to come much, much, much deeper. Because then you're really able to love someone other than just needing them to treat you a certain way, to behave in a certain way. So that's actually the deepest form of love. So to bring non-attachment into family would be to create a very deeply spiritual, connected family in which there's a lot of love, but not a lot of micromanagement, not a lot of how dare you, I need this, you better do that, who do you think you are? Not that kind of stuff. And that's when our families become part of our spiritual practice. The deities we worship in mandirs are representations of different forms that the infinite supreme reality has taken at different times. So let's say, take the ocean. Let's say that instead of there being lots of different oceans, there's only one ocean. Okay, it's an infinite ocean. Well, the ocean has waves. So there are moments in which the ocean takes the form of a wave. But even as a wave, it's still ocean, right? The highest truth of wave is ocean. So when we think about the divine in form, it's not that all of God came into this one form and that somehow there was no more God anywhere else, but that God now was all in this form. But rather that this form was a manifestation of, an incarnation of the divine in form on earth at a specific time for a specific purpose. And this is actually what Bhagavan Krishna tells us in the Gita. He says, whenever adharma means lack of righteousness, lack of goodness, is winning out over dharma, over goodness, over righteousness, when darkness is winning out over light, I incarnate in form on earth to bring back light to the darkness, to bring back dharma to the adharma. So we see these forms who are divine embodiments of incarnations of the Supreme Reality. But it doesn't mean that all of the Supreme Reality is in that form, right? The Supreme Reality is infinite, formless, but it can therefore take any form. The flow of water is formless, but if I stick a glass in it, the glass will fill up with water. Now water is in the form of my glass. But it doesn't mean that somehow water has now developed a form and is no longer formless. It just means that this part of water for this period of time is in this form for a specific reason, namely because I have filled up my glass with water. That's all it means. So we worship like that because for many people, not all of them, there's also temples dedicated to the formless, nameless, infinite Brahman, infinite Supreme Reality. But honestly, especially if you're a practitioner of Bhakti Yoga, who are the ones who are worshiping the divine mostly in form, it's a lot easier to love a being in form than to love a nameless, formless reality. Like if you close your eyes and you try to love Krishna, or love Ram, or love Ganeshji, or love Hanuman, or love Bhagwan Shiva, or love Ma Durga, or Lakshmi Ma, for most of us that is so much easier than trying to love a nameless, formless, omnipresent Supreme Reality. And so it's a doorway into it. It's a doorway into it. So if it works for you, use it. If it doesn't work for you, no problem. Aham Brahmasmi. You've got all of the scriptures, teachings, mantras, just work with that. There's no rule that says you must worship the divine in the form of a deity. But just worship however you can worship so that you can connect. That's the goal, is just get connected.